Our next presenter is Marcus Sheridan. Dubbed a web marketing guru by the New York Times, Sheridan runs The Sales Lion, a sales, marketing, and personal development blog synonymous with inbound marketing excellence. Marcus gained his mastery of inbound marketing over 10 years of building his own pool installation company into the largest in the United States, even through the housing crisis. With the help of incredible innovations through inbound marketing, River Pools and Spas has transformed from a small business run out of the back of a beat-up pickup truck into the most visited swimming pool website in the world. No doubt you'll enjoy his real-world approach. Welcome to the summit, Marcus.
Hey, it's Marcus Sheridan from The Sales Lion, and I'm excited to talk to you about a principle that's literally changed my life. And it's something that a lot of businesses, a lot of sales professionals have applied now all over the world, and it works. And I'm hoping that you're going to apply it as well. Now, let me give you my really quick story so that there's some background to what I'm getting ready to tell you. And I own a swimming pool company. Now, today I'm just a silent partner with this swimming pool company called River Pools and Spas. But we started in 2001, and in 2008, as many of you remember, the market collapsed, and that was not a good time for pool guys, and we were this close to losing our business. It was during that time that I started to read about the internet and this thing called inbound marketing and content marketing, etc. And that was when we decided to essentially become the Wikipedia of fiberglass swimming pools. And we said, no matter what question anyone has ever asked us about pools, specifically fiberglass pools, we're going to address them on our website. That philosophy has become known as They Ask You Answer, and it literally took our business from struggling to what is today the most trafficked swimming pool website in the world, and we get about 500,000 visitors a month. Now that's not critical to this, the River Pool story, but it lays the foundation for an interesting finding that I had in 2012. So let me explain it to you, because I want to tell you about this thing called assignment selling. Before I do, though, let me ask you a question. On average, how many pages of your company website would a potential client be willing to read on average? Now, if you're like most people, you're probably thinking, I don't know, 2 to 3 pages. Well, I'm here to tell you that we, as business is and as salespeople, we dramatically underestimate the willingness of our clients to consume information if we're but willing to give it to them and if we use it the right way. So let me tell you about this whole assignment selling thing and how I discovered it with River Pools. At the beginning of 2012, I was comparing 2 groups of people. Both of them had filled out a form on our site, our website, and said, I want to get a quote for a pool. Now this group that filled out the form, they ended up not buying. But this group that filled out the form, they ended up buying. And I was looking at the 2 groups, I'm saying, what's the difference between these 2? Why did these buy and these didn't? And I realized the number 30 just jumped out underneath this group. And that number 30, if you haven't guessed already, represented the total number of pages they had viewed on the website. So let me explain. What we found is that if someone read 30 or more pages of our website before the initial sales appointment, they would buy 80% of the time. Now you say, wow, interesting. So did I. Because the average closing rate was about 20%. In other words, 1 out of 5 in-home sales appointments, which is how it's pretty much done in the swimming pool industry, ended up in a close. So, of course, what was happening over the course of those 30 pages? Well, over the course of those 30 pages, they were getting educated, and that education led to trust. And that trust led to a hockey stick growth in terms of closing rates. It was, for us, it was unbelievable. And so from that point in time, I said, okay, what do we have to do as a company to ensure that everybody we go see, if we're going to see them, has read 30 pages of the website? And that's when I started this process of assignment selling. So briefly, this is how it looks. All right, so let's pretend that you are a customer or a prospect, and you give me a call and you say, hey, Marcus, could you come out to my house this Friday and give me a quote for a pool? Well, it used to be, before we understood this principle of assignment selling and the power of page views, the power of education, We didn't ask a lot of questions, and we didn't try to make sure that they were very well informed and educated through our content. And so, instead of doing it the old way, this is the new way. So hypothetically, you say to me, hey Marcus, could you come out to my house this Friday and give me a quote for a pool? And I say to you, now, sure, I would love to come out to your house and give you a quote for a pool, but you're getting ready to spend a lot of money. And if you're going to spend a lot of money, I know you don't want to make any mistakes. So that you don't make any mistakes, I'm going to make sure that you're well educated. So as to make sure you're well educated, I'm going to send you an email as we're talking on the phone. This email is great because it has two things on it that you're going to find very helpful. The first thing, it has a video of an entire pool being installed. In other words, when it shows up, when it goes in the ground, the patio and the decking going around it. This way you're going to see the process for yourself, and you're not going to have to ask me when I come out to your house, so Marcus, what does this process look like? You're already going to know. Now the second thing I'm going to include in this email is a guide or an ebook, if you will, that's essentially a buying guide for you getting ready to buy a pool. Now this thing is also great because it's going to answer a lot of the questions that you have right now, like, should I get a cover with my pool? What's the best type of cover for my pool? Should I get a heater? Should it be gas? Should it be electric? Should I get a salt chlorine generator? It's going to answer all these questions. Now, it's a little bit long, about 30 pages, but I promise it will be well worth your time. Now, would you take the time to review those things before our appointment on Friday? And as you might imagine, 90% of the time, the person on the other end says, sure, I would love to. So, of course, if someone does do that, we now have an assignment, and we now know that they're going to buy 80% of the time. My question is, if you can dramatically increase the closing rates of your sales appointments simply by using the power of great teaching or great content that you have produced as a company or as a salesperson, why wouldn't you do it? And this is no different too. You can use this type of assignment selling in different ways. Let's be hypothetical for a second. Let's say that you just sent out a proposal to somebody and you haven't heard back from them, and you're starting to get worried that you're not hearing back. And so, instead of just sending the classic email that sounds something like, hey, Mr. Jones, I'm just calling to see, or I'm just emailing you to see if you had any questions about the proposal that I gave you, instead, send something like this. Hey, Mr. Jones, we met the other day, and you got a proposal from us. You mentioned a couple of concerns that you have. Totally understand your concerns. In fact, as a company, we've produced 2 videos and an article that address that very issue. I want you to take a look at the videos, read the article. Tomorrow, I'll give you a call and we'll discuss. Now, how is that email different? Well, it's very, very different because now you're using the power of content and great teaching to either move them down the sales funnel or move them out of the sales funnel. And Mr. Jones, he's really going to respond in one of 2 ways. Either he's going to respond by saying, hey, thanks, I appreciate you sending that, which means he's still in the game. Or 2, he's going to say, well, actually, Marcus, we've decided, and of course, you know how that statement goes. If they've started it with we've decided, that means they're not going to go with you. You've lost the proposal, you've lost the bid. But that's okay, because at least now you know and you saved yourself time. I would urge you as a sales professional to never send another email out that doesn't include content through text and video that your company has produced. I would urge you, do not underestimate the power of content and the willingness of your prospects to consume content if you'll but give it to them. I'll close with a stat that's going to make you potentially say, whoa, I can't believe that. In 2013, after my company had embraced this philosophy of assignment selling, we sold 95 pools that year. And because we can track, based on advanced analytics through our website, we can track the average number of pages our customers have read. Do you realize the average number of pages that these 95 customers read before they bought a pool was 105 pages of the website. Unbelievable, don't you think? You know, if you had come to me 6 years ago in 2009 when we started this process of They Ask You Answer, and we became literally the Wikipedia of fiberglass swimming pools, if you had come to me and said, do you realize your average customer would be willing to read over 100 pages of your website before they buy, I would have told you, you're crazy. You don't understand my business. You don't understand my customer. You might be thinking the same thing. I'm just asking you, do not underestimate the power of great teaching to move them down that sales funnel and make your job much easier. One last point, then I'll close. In 2013, as you know, we sold 95 pools that year. But if we can look at history, in 2007, when the economy was great and anybody could get a swimming pool, anybody could get a loan for a pool, literally, if you had a pulse, because everybody had inflated home values, that year, when I was just a pool guy and not a sales and marketing guy, that year I sold 70 in-ground swimming pools. But in order to sell those 70 in-ground swimming pools, I had to go on 230 sales appointments. Pretty dramatic, the difference. Wouldn't you agree? So 70 sales appointments, 70 sales, 230 sales appointments. My whole life was spent on the road, talking about pools, driving, because the average appointment was 2 hours from the house. Now, in 2013, we had a new salesperson on the staff, a new way of selling. At this point, I'm a silent partner with the company. The person that we have on staff arguably isn't as polished of a salesperson. And that year, that person, as you know, sold 95 swimming pools. But that year, that salesperson went on 120 sales appointments. I kid you not, 120 sales appointments. All because of the power of content and great teaching. I'm asking you to consider the same thing. Become the Wikipedia of your space. Be the best teacher in the world. And use that content throughout your entire sales process. And never, ever, if you can help it, send another email without some bit of great teaching. I'm Marcus Sheridan from the Sales Line, and I certainly appreciate you listening.